Welcome back to Ideas Spotlight here on Beyond the Brick. I'm Joshua Hanlon, and today I'm happy to have Connor joining me to talk about his working jump scare project. And a big thanks, as always, to Clone Army Customs for helping make these live streams possible. Check out clonearmycustoms.com for all of their great custom Lego Star Wars content. Now, this project we have for you today is something really unique. It's very different. I think it definitely stands out among some of the other projects that we've featured and seen on Ideas. So before we jump into this, Connor, why don't you give us a quick introduction to yourself, and then we'll take a look at the projects.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thanks so much, Joshua, and the rest of Beyond the Brick for having me on the show. Really cool to be here. So, yeah, my name's Connor. I am a TEFL from northern British Columbia in Canada, and yeah, I've been playing with Lego since I was 4. I think, I remember getting a big red box of assorted bricks when I was for Christmas, when I was 3 or 4, and just thinking it was the best thing ever. And yeah, never really stopped playing with that. I love building, I find the functionality aspect of Lego to kind of be the best part of it, the way that you can use Technic elements in concert with the system bricks to come up with some really great functionality at low cost, and just kind of using stuff that you have in your collection and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, that's good to hear because this first project definitely captures a lot of that with the functionality. So, give us kind of the inspiration for this project. You put together this great video showing how it works. So, how did you decide to tackle this project?
Yeah, totally. So this build was originally for the Ghostbusters contest, and yeah, so I mean, full disclosure, I'm not actually a huge Ghostbusters fan or anything like that. So in that sense, don't follow my example with picking an ideas project. I think yeah, it should be something that you're passionate about and stuff like that. So maybe not the best starting point, but it was a cool contest. It looked interesting. And yeah, so I kind of went online and looked up Ghostbusters ghosts, and actually one of the first things that came up was a GIF online where it was a librarian jumping out at the camera sort of thing, and I watched the scene. It was pretty hilarious. So I thought that was something that would be worth recreating in Lego bricks. So yeah, basically it was just trying to capture the just kind of the title of the contest was create a ghost that scares you, basically. And so I didn't want to create something that was static. I don't think that that's generally super scary. I don't think that it's super possible to capture a really scary ghost with just static Lego bricks. So I tried to come up with something that actually had the element of surprise sort of inherent to it. So that was sort of where I went. That was the starting point for it, and then yeah, I went from there.
So, when you're designing something like this that has to have all that functionality and kind of transform into a different build almost, where do you start with? How do you kind of conceptualize this in your head as you're putting the project together?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a diehard physical builder. I avoid digital designer and stuff like that, which is probably a detriment, to be honest. But yeah, I'm very much I stick to physical bricks, and I'm the most basic kind of physical brick builder. It's literally just a tub of bricks that I have back home, and I don't there. I've made some inroads at sorting them, but for the most part, it's very much just a big pile of bricks. So for these, I start by kind of just sketching out the basic functionality with bricks of just any color that I can find as quick as possible. So for this one right here, I kind of at the start I was expecting it to be some sort of gearing mechanism, where you would turn it really fast, and then it would the transformation would occur. It quickly became fairly clear that that was going to be an unnecessary step. So I just sort of started working a lot with levers and trying to get just the geometry to work right. So it's actually there's not a ton going on. It's just there's sort of underneath the desk. There's like some plates that slope down, uh, like slope downwards, and then there's the levers are kind of just resting on top. The weight of the ghost kind of keeps it back there, and then you just
Okay.
press down and it falls into place. So it's a pretty satisfying mechanism.
Yeah, and it's super fun to watch here because not only does the ghost kind of pop out and completely replace the lady, but then the bookshelves fall to the side really nicely, and so it just seems like one kind of swift motion and everything falls into place.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, like working through that. Because like the original mechanism was the just the ghost kind of replacing the lady. Then I figured out that I could get arms to work just utilizing that same mechanism. Just using a few I don't know what those called, ball joint arms or whatever, attached to the back, and then the bookshelf was kind of an answer to the. I didn't like how the ghost was, like, you could clearly see the ghost just in the background up to that point, and then it was just kind of figuring out a way to hide it. And yeah, I didn't have to add really a whole lot. The lift arms for the arms that come forward were pretty worked pretty well to just kind of push the bookshelves out of the way as I added that. So yeah, it came together pretty elegantly.
Yeah, great work. Do you think this is too scary for Lego to produce, or is this something that you think kids can handle if they turn this into a set?
I mean, I think it totally depends on. I mean, I think that like the jump scare mechanism itself would be pretty easily replicable. Yeah, I wouldn't say that like this has like were it to go all the way, I would say it's a set that could maybe use some modification. It could honestly go a direction totally different from Ghostbusters, to be honest. Like the I think the coolest part of this build is the mechanism, not necessarily like the theme. And so just being able to employ this sort of mechanics that are involved, whether or not that's like through like if they want to do like a Jurassic World version of this where it's like a dinosaur that's like uh jumping out from behind bushes or something like that. I don't know. It's like I think that just like the ability to do a smooth transition in less than a second, I think is the fun part.
Right, it's kind of the same principle as the pop-up book was, where you could take that pop-up book mechanism, but then create so many different stories through opening up the book, and it was really the mechanism that served as the base for telling lots of different stories there. And again, yeah, another fantastic ideas project there. So I think this would be along the same lines of that, and people could really take this and build their own ideas and stories with using the basic mechanism.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, excellent work there. We'll definitely have a link in the description to this project so everyone can make sure to go and check it out. Both this project and the one we'll talk about next year are very new on the platform, so you can help them reach that first 100 votes that are needed to get that extra time to continue to rack up support. So definitely go over there and support this fantastic jump scare project. And then the second project we wanted to talk about, which is your Submersible project. And I've always been a fan of the kind of underwater themes that Lego has done over the years. There's been lots of great sets that have come out of those, just between the underwater vehicles and then kind of the landscapes that can be made with the ocean bottoms. So this project really caught my eye as well. So what was the inspiration for this? Was it any of the particular kind of previous Lego underwater themes, or just wanting to tackle something different?
Yeah, so actually, like growing up, Lego Atlantis was always my favorite Lego theme. So that was definitely an inspiration there. I mean, you can like pick out like different parts from Lego Atlantis, for sure, like in like the tridents and the propellers on the yeah, on the side of the vehicle. But yeah, so the inspiration for this project, I remember this project actually came together. Um, I started working on it in September of 2017, actually. So this is an older one. But it was kind of inspired by like just mocks that I had seen online that were I don't know. Like I remember seeing a mock that was based off of a dragonfly. It was sort of like a drop ship um sort of build, and I just really loved that meld between like a mech style build with like an insect shaping. And I thought that that was something that would be really fun to kind of go after in my own building style. So yeah, I kind of like the first major chunk of this build came together in basically a day, but then it was a lot of just kind of working it out afterwards. So yeah, but yeah, I kind of knew from the start. I'd kind of sketched out really broadly that I wanted this to look essentially like a beetle of some kind. And I this was the first time that I was really experimenting with a combination of like large like plate bricks combined with like a lot of like smaller, just like detailed bricks, kind of like to make up the finer detailed areas, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And definitely those details really shine through here. Especially all of the kind of elements that you use to create the overall aesthetic of the ship itself. So you've got like those gold kind of pieces sticking out, almost like wing type pieces on it. You've got the big section in the front there that is come like a stinger type of thing coming out of the front. So I love that. It makes it look sort of like exploration but menacing at the same time. So, what are some of your favorite pieces that you were able to include in the build?
I mean, there's some things that like you can't see with the camera or whatever. On the inside, there's like actually like the like Lego Technic pistons that are kind of hidden in there. It's kind of like it's got like it's the engine at the heart of it. The pincers at the front, they actually there's a trigger underneath, so those actually you can like actually activate those and like grab things with the pincers, which I think is a fun little feature. There's not a ton of functionality going on in this build aside from that. But yeah, I mean it was funny when I was building it, I wasn't actually sure what sort of build I was kind of going for. I wasn't sure if it was like a submarine or a spaceship, kind of like oscillated between the two. Eventually, I decided that it didn't make sense to have a beetle in space, and so I was like, "Yeah, there are beetles that swim, so let's go with that." And that's when I added the propellers on the side. Up to that point, it had just been kind of the wings with the blades sticking out, and so I thought the propellers like were a good use of the like the power miner wheels there, and really kind of worked to fill out the build. It felt like it was missing something to that point, and yeah, it really felt complete at that point. And then like building the stand was a lot of fun too. Just getting to that was my first time kind of experimenting with just using bricks on their side to kind of create that landscape, and just kind of being able to feeling free to just add random details as I kind of felt they would look interesting. So like there's random piping and just like older like trans bricks that I found just chilling around. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the stand.
Yeah, I think there's a separate photo here somewhere of the just the stand itself, which is super cool. And that's one thing I love about these underwater builds is how creative you can get with the landscaping and sort of that under creating that underwater world. Yeah, here's the photo here. So you've got one of the old sharks there, and then like you said, yeah, kind of studs out on top building, just lots of different pieces that you can throw in there to create that look.
Yeah, I think that it's super cool because like the ocean is really like the last unexplored place on Earth, so you can kind of let your imagination run wild a little bit, and there's no one to say that that's not how it looks.
Exactly. So it's great that you've been able to continue to kind of grow over the years with your builds and your ideas projects, and I know you're continuing to improve. So what are some of the things you've kind of learned through the process of doing these projects, and maybe you'll apply them to future projects? What do you have in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that like the greatest Lego ideas projects are the ones that sort of like invoke nostalgia and or like are I mean like kind of wrap up a sort of community that can kind of get behind the builds and stuff like that. And that's something that I've never been too focused on. Like I enjoy the building process way more than I enjoy like the gathering support process or anything like that. So I know that that's like where I definitely need to improve a lot. So it's definitely like in future, like I mean, like with the one of the other projects that I have on right now, my Tour de France cyclist. I think that that's kind of like the first build that I've done where it actually is a recognizable brand, so to speak. It's got like Tour de France has a massive fan base and stuff like that. Plus, it's actually something that like I'm a pretty like I'm a pretty avid cyclist myself, so it's
Yeah.
something that I actually have a fair bit of experience in and that sort of thing. So yeah, like that's I'd say that yeah, finding something that you're passionate about, and then presentation is like 99% of the process, I think, because like you might have a great build, but if you take bad photographs, then no one's going to notice it. So, yeah, I think that those are all things that I've definitely noticed in older projects that were awful, and
Okay.
that I'm kind of seeking to improve upon at this point. So, yeah, I'd say that that's kind of the big things is finding a build that yeah, invokes nostalgia, takes Lego bricks to a place that they haven't really been before, and is something that lines up with the Lego brand at the same time, I think is sort of like the key things to look for. And then presentation and getting your project out there for sure.
Presentation is definitely a massive part of ideas. I think you look at the people who have had, multiple projects that get to 10,000 or projects that become actual sets. Their projects just consistently really stand out, really pop at you when if you're just scrolling through ideas and see them. So yeah, I think that's certainly a big part of it. So if anyone out there is considering putting a project on ideas, maybe you've got a good build, but you don't have that other technical aspects is down, maybe find a friend or see if you can reach out to someone that would help you kind of with the presentation aspect, because you might have a really fantastic build, but like Connor said, if it's not presented well, then people just aren't going to notice it.
Yeah, and I think that, like the thumbnail, like the initial thumbnail, is the most important part too. Because like in the past, I focused a fair bit of time and energy on making like a video that I can put up that like shows off like the technical side of like the build and its functions. But someone has to click on it before they actually get to the video. So I think just realizing that yeah, the thumbnail is the moneymaker. So that's
Yeah,
fair.
well, that's definitely great advice. So definitely, everyone go and make sure you click the link in the description. Help support these fantastic projects on ideas. Help them get over that 100 vote threshold and just keep moving and getting more votes so that you can get more time, because that's
Uh,
what it's all about with ideas. Is just yeah, making sure that you hit those milestones in time and continue to gather support. So this is some great stuff, Connor. Thank you.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome, and thank you everyone for watching.